All right. Well, he's not going to let Monster Fest get in the way of a weekly PE class. Jarret, how's it going, mate?
Good, good. Surprisingly well rested, gentlemen, because technically today is a day off from the festival. So yeah, so once you nurse that hangover, you're good to go. So yeah, it's good to be back and talking about the physical medium, given that I've been in a cinema all weekend, and I love being in the cinema, the theatrical experience. But there's really something about being able to pause a film, use the bathroom, maybe have a nap and come back to it later that can be said for home entertainment. So I
Check
can
your TikToks as you're
understand
watching.
I can understand why video did kill the theatrical going experience in the 80s. Anyway, gentlemen, home entertainment this week, it's a banger because it's the time of year, obviously being October, that the distributors go, oh, it's spooky season, let's unleash our horror films. But it's timely because these films have only just finished up in theaters. In fact, probably some of these films are still showing at Cinema Nova and other sort of boutique cinemas. But we're seeing well, actually, let me just go. I'm going to go start to finish. So
All
we'll
right.
start with Longlegs that's coming out through Rialto. This is a blessing too, because we've got a 4K Ultra HD locally, as well as the Blu-ray and DVD, which is a bit of a rarity because, I mean, this film did good box office, but I can't imagine it did that greater box office that they went, no, get it out on 4K, but they know that it's the kind of film that will sell on the format, which is the kind of confidence that other distributors don't have, like the majors, like say Roadshow, for instance, that didn't even give X a Blu-ray, let alone a 4K. And even Warner Roadshow with Malignant only got a DVD locally, not
Yeah,
even a Blu-ray, let alone a 4K that
they
overseas
they
got.
kind of safeguarded themselves with that like marketing
Yeah,
campaign before theatrical. Like it got the word of mouth going
yeah.
big time.
Yeah, totally. They did a really good job of it too because it's Rialto. It's an indie distributor, and they did a great job of getting the word out. Caught up with a friend last night, and at Monster Fest, funnily enough, and they'd mentioned they'd watched Longlegs and really enjoyed it. I didn't anticipate it would be their cup of tea, and they said it's funny because I had heard nothing about this movie until you said about it, and I went and watched it, really enjoyed it. And he goes, the following week, all I heard was people talking about Longlegs. And he goes, and they weren't film people, and the
Yeah.
word of mouth had spread. And I go, well, that's the kind of film it is. I think it's that buzz movie. They can spend, a certain amount getting the marketing out there, but it's the word of mouth that's going to sell a film like that. He's like, I don't know why they didn't use more Nicolas Cage to sell it. And I go, exactly why they didn't, because it was
That's right.
perfect. And that's the talking point afterward. They deliberately didn't show too much, didn't put his name over everything.
Yeah,
It was a
and
pleasant
it didn't become a
surprise.
Nicolas Cage film then.
I was going to
Exactly,
say
because
that,
we all know like one in five Nicolas Cage films are good, and this is one of them.
Mm.
but are we 100% sure it's Nicolas Cage? Because I was just rewatching Mask with Eric Stoltz. Remarkably similar.
True, and where's Eric Stoltz at the moment
Yeah,
as
I've
well?
never
And
seen
have the
Nicolas
two
Cage.
ever been in anything together on
Yeah, I've never
screen at
seen
least
Stoltz
together?
and Cage together in the same place at the same time in the mask makeup.
No, it's funny to think in the 80s how big Eric Stoltz was, and how he's sort of, star faded over time. And Nick Cage was like the sort of underdog actor, doing Valley Girls, doing small roles to begin with, and then, Birdie and things like that. And now, I think you, I don't know if a lot of people will remember the name Eric Stoltz, and you go, oh, but he had the giant head with Cher, in that movie Mask. Oh, maybe. Oh, he was in that bizarre love triangle in Some Kind of Wonderful. Some Kind of what? It's a John Hughes film. Never heard of it.
Just the
Yeah,
red,
But anyway,
the ginger from Pulp Fiction is what he'll be
yeah.
yeah.
known as.
And
He's John Travolta's drug dealer in Pulp Fiction. John
fiction,
Travolta
yes,
in Pulp Fiction.
yes.
That's the conversation.
Oh no, it's true. And they'll be like, "Oh, hang on, I think I have heard of the guy. Is that the one that lost the role to Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future?" And you're
Well,
like,
hang on. John Travolta, Eric Stoltz. Maybe he was in Face Off, not Nicolas Cage. We will never know.
"We'll never know."
Yeah. Once
These
the
are
face came off, it could be anyone.
these are questions that will not be answered for another 20 or 30 years when the NDAs have, well and truly expired.
Questions
But
that'll
anyway.
never be asked again.
Well, you never know. I might actually bring it back up next week, so we'll see. There's probably a 4K coming out of Face Off locally by then.
Yeah.
Moving on to another release that's coming out through Rialto, and I believe it may in fact be the guest on this episode, Subservience, the film.
Yep. Subservience.
Subservience, with
Yeah.
Megan Fox, which
Yeah.
is was one I was looking at a couple months ago in terms of seeing if we could program for the festival, but then of course the video on demand date came ahead of the I think home ent because now
Yeah.
it's on home ent, but it's been on digital for about a week or
Uh-huh.
so now. So obviously we couldn't look at programming, which was a shame. I haven't seen it, but it looked pretty damn good.
I really, really enjoyed it. And as you'll hear from the conversation coming up, and for people that are watching this on social media, by the way, YouTube or Facebook, listen to the entire episode of the show because there is that chat coming up. But he's a great chat, SK Dale. He's like a really good conversationalist. We had a chat way back when he did Till Death, the last one.
Oh, he did that with Megan Fox as well, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. And this is a
Is that the
step
one
up.
where she's in the ice and she's like crawling to stay alive?
It's the survivalist, like
Yeah,
hostage
survivalist
film.
horror. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
that was cool. I really liked that film.
This is a step up from that. Like, it's really good.
Excellent. Well, yeah, damn shame that it didn't get a sort of theatrical nod. But anyway, it's coming out this week. Sadly, this one, though, is only coming out on DVD. There's no Blu-ray for this one. But moving on to a company that are releasing a 4K Ultra HD. And I think we're probably the first territory in the world to get this one on home entertainment, which is a bit of a coup for Australia. Roadshow from the Warner catalogue are releasing Furiosa Black and Chrome on 4K UHD. So if you want to watch the film in black and chrome,
Well, I'll tell you what, that black and chrome of Fury Road shit me. Like, it really bothered me. And
yeah,
this movie's even more colorful than Fury Road. Why would you want to?
I don't understand how this is not just an extra. It's an odd double dip because
every television has the ability to go black and white mode. Like,
yeah, precisely. I mean, they might have fine-tuned it, but
Academy ratio to 4:3 Academy ratio.
they've kept it at the 240 to 1 or something of that nature. They totally should have, and added the grindhouse video effect.
What would be
more?
What would be more impressive and kind of weird and kooky would be if they filmed it in black and chrome and then colorized it for theatrical.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. No, I see. I'd pay good money for that. But anyway, that one's coming out. Outside of the new color grade of the film, there's no difference to the previous release. It's still got Dolby Vision, which is odd having Dolby Vision for effectively a black and white film. But don't look, it'll make the black and chrome really pop. It's got Atmos and it's got the same 5 featurettes that are carrying over from the previous 4K release. I don't know, though, whether they've actually included the color cut or whether they are purely hoping that people will buy both versions. To have the ultimate experience, yeah.
When they did the black and chrome, I think it had both versions, but like I just don't understand the negativity around this film. There's a lot of hate for it. I don't get it.
I still haven't. Look, I watched 10 minutes of it just to see if I would be interested, and I was interested, but I just haven't come back to it. But I will get there because, to me, the first 10 minutes of this was more appealing than the whole 100 odd minutes of.
Then
Fury
I reckon
Road,
you'll love the rest of it.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely I'm just waiting for that rainy day to come. It hasn't come yet. And look, let's face it, rather than watch something that's being heralded as some new masterpiece, I'd rather watch some forgotten film from the 60s or 70s that's undoubtedly trash. But it tickles my nightly bone to watch something of that nature. Anyway, so well, some of the films, I've got a focus film I'm going to tell you about, and that one might tickle your funny bone, Ben. But moving on to Studio Canal, you know how I love talking about Studio Canal. I never have a gripe with Studio Canal. Well, they're finally releasing Kia Roach-Turner's Sting locally on home entertainment. Of course, remember, we got it after every other territory. So by the time it opened in cinemas, it was already torrented to hell on the internet, available on physical media overseas. Well, Studio Canal are finally releasing on home entertainment, and they're doing it on DVD. There's no Blu-ray, not a Blu-ray. If you want a Blu-ray, you got to import it from the UK from Studio Canal or the US from Lionsgate or whoever's released it over there.
Giving love to the country of origin.
I know, and this would be their opportunity to actually do a definitive edition here. But we know how these things work when it's like a major corporation like that. Everything has to get a sign of approval here and that. And I'm glad they didn't hire me to do it, the special features, because God knows I probably wouldn't have got paid till 2025.
Did you hear my interview with Kia?
I did, yes.
Yeah, my favorite part was when I was asking him, like, geez, those exterior shots are gorgeous. How'd you do those? And he's like, Shutterstock.
Yeah. Look, it's the way these things are getting done these days. I mean, it's great because it's effectively using the library like they used to use back in the day. Like, look at Squirm, the intro of Squirm, taking a shot out of Ocean's 11.
Mate, there is nothing wrong with it. Like, that's the thing. Like, don't feel ashamed for saying that because they work in the film. Like,
That's it. And I mean,
believe.
The good thing is that if you're using that stock footage, it's of a high enough grade. It's probably comparable to what's actually being shot. So the source material's good. unlike going back to the 35 mil when they would use stock footage, like you watch a cannibal movie that's clearly shot one place and then they've got footage from the Amazon here. And when you watch it on 4K, it just looks like two totally different things. But yeah. So there you go. But anyway, Studio Canal releasing Sting on DVD. Way to do an Aussie film justice. But they're also releasing Hereditary on 4K Ultra HD, which is good, given that Lionsgate released this one on 4K UHD, like 4 or 5 years ago when the film opened theatrically. But I guess they're trying to capitalize on, well, I don't know. What are they trying to capitalize? Halloween, maybe? Maybe that's it, because Ari Aster doesn't have a new film at the moment.
I think just the fact that, what's her name? Toni Collette didn't die this week, seeing as it seems that everyone else seems to drop off. I think we had 4 deaths this week.
It was so many deaths.
Celebrating. It's just
celebrating. We lost Taggart. I'm glad we got Beverly Hills Cop Axel F before Taggart left us.
Fucking oath.
Yeah. John Amos.
I mean,
if we do want to go back, though, at least
two Eddie Murphy actors.
We could watch Taggart's cameos just to, he did a lot of cameos there in the day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like cameo is in the service you pay for them to deliver a message like "Happy Birthday."
Taggart was
this is your old friend Taggart.
Taggart was in that movie I recommended the other week. I forgot the name of it, but that
Midnight
Private
Express.
Resort. I think it was
Midnight
Resort.
Run.
Yeah.
Private Resort.
Yeah.
Is that the one with Johnny Depp?
No. This one had the guy from the evil guy from Phantom of Paradise.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Little fella.
No. The old
Garrett Graham.
Garrett Graham. That's it. Yeah.
Garrett Graham. Okay. Private Resort.
Anyway, he's really the villain.
Yes.
Anyway,
he's the devil.
I digress.
So Hereditary happened on 4K Ultra HD. Can't speak for what special feature content is on it. I mean, the US release had some stuff, but I don't know if it's on the local release. But you'll get it cheap and cheery at under $30. So there you go. Moving on to Universal, who are releasing. Actually, I don't know if Universal releasing something. I've written Universal down on my notes over here, but I think what I did was I cut and pasted over the top of that.
Okay, let's have a look.
So Universal are releasing something. It's a bit of a mystery as to what it is. Glenn,
I'm bringing it up now.
I have literally cut and pasted over the top of it.
We're talking Maxxxine.
Maxxxine, yes, it's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD. And no 4K locally for this one. This one is getting a 4K release in the US, which is the first time any one of the 3 in the trilogy have got a 4K release in the States. Previously, it's just been DVD and Blu-ray. The Germans, of course, they've been doing 4K since the start. But maybe now Lionsgate A24 may actually decide to do 4Ks of X.
Will there be any sharing? Will there be any sub-licensing in like a triple pack or anything like that, do you reckon?
Not locally. I reckon you might be hard pressed because you've got Madman, Roadshow, and AID.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it would work. But I mean,
what a shame.
Depends on what the license period was.
Wait for 10 years and where they'll slip out a license and somebody would just snap up all 3.
Ty West is already
via Vision.
Ty West is already onto his 4th
Umbrella.
one. He's doing a 4th one, so.
Well, he needs to make up for Maxxxine, doesn't he? Really?
What? No, Maxxxine was great. What are you talking about?
Great.
Weakest of the 3. I left that.
Oh, no.
The only up there. Pearl was the best of the trilogy for me. I thought it was fantastic. I love
Ben's
Pearl.
least favorite, but I
love Pearl. Pearl.
Look, I'll go technically and cinematically. I think Pearl's the strongest, but I think just as far as pure pleasure and entertainment, Maxxxine for the win. The only thing I probably enjoyed was the alleyway encounter I felt like it didn't capture the period. I felt like it just felt ham-fisted. I thought it just felt really it felt like a backlot. It was like Netflix, Angel. It was like
80s. It felt like a Netflix version of Angel made now, though. I felt like it just.
Man,
to me, it just felt
some fighting words.
Cheap overall. I did not like the movie. Too many subplots, too many characters, and I just
Kevin
did not
Bacon,
enjoy
come
it.
on.
And a terrible. I thought he was awful in it, and I love Kevin Bacon, even in his bad performances.
No,
I thought, I will revisit it, but I know my feelings are that strong on it. There's only been one film that's disappointed me more this year, gentlemen. Can you guess what it is?
I don't know, but TikTok's going to have fun with this one.
It's a sequel, and it's a franchise sequel.
Oh yeah,
a legacy sequel.
We spoke about it as Exorcist.
Oh no, God, I think that was last
Deadpool
year.
3?
No, I didn't even finish Exorcist
Wolverine
Believer.
Deadpool?
Oh, we spoke
No,
about this recently. We spoke about this recently.
I enjoyed Deadpool. I enjoyed Deadpool.
Tell us.
I thought that was good. Beetlejuice.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I gave it on Letterboxd. I gave it one. I actually gave it 1.5 stars. I went back 2 days later. I went down to 1 star.
I mean, it wasn't perfect, but Jesus.
Oh, it was far from perfect. Again, too many subplots, too many
Yeah,
characters.
I'll give you that, but yeah, come
And
on, it's
for a
still
film
fun.
called Beetlejuice, let's learn from the first, which is an absolute classic. Maybe put more Beetlejuice in it.
Well,
You know,
that is the
I don't know,
thing.
twice the amount of Beetlejuice would be good.
Apparently, he's only in it for 12 minutes. If you add it up,
That's ridiculous.
that didn't bother
But
me.
anyway,
Yeah.
that
Did he
one's
have
coming.
colour in
That
this
one's being fast tracked to digital though, so I know it's coming out in the States
This is
this
just
week on
outrageous. Like,
digital.
I'm so offended right now. Like,
Oh well, I know I've got to say a film. I've got to say something that I've enjoyed lately, just to kind of balance it all out. Oh, well, have you gentlemen seen The Substance yet?
no.
Well, wait till you see The Substance.
All right.
Now that's a movie.
All
Now
right.
you should see
we
what.
will see about that.
Yeah, I think you gentlemen might enjoy that one. You might enjoy that one. Okay, so moving on to my focus film. Well, actually, it's Focus Films this week because it's a box set that Vinegar Syndrome have released. Perfectly my cup of tea. Cruel Britannia. It's a 3-film box set on 2 discs, and they're all films from the 1970s, vastly overlooked films, but from, well, in one instance, from a good filmmaker. Freddie Francis directs one of them, who's directed a bunch of Amicus and Hammer horror films. He directed Craze with Jack Palance, and I don't know if either of you have seen Craze before. It's a fantastic. It's trash, but it's so good, the trash. And Jack Palance is unhinged, like really crazy good in it. And I think it's on Tubi, so you can probably watch it for free without having to
Isn't it funny
dip in to buy the box set.
when Jack Palance did Alone in the Dark, everyone's like, "Oh my god, his broken character is like he's crazy," but he's done that.
He did this film like in 1971, probably not widely seen, but it did get a wide release in the US. Warner picked it up and distributed it in the States. But it was the first time I'd seen it. I'd always seen the poster art, always been intrigued. So it was good to finally sit down and watch it. And yeah, it's trash, but it's good trash. The highlight of the box set for me, though, is Crucible of Terror, which is the first time this has had a Blu-ray release. And it's just, I don't know, it's like a twisted sort of, it's just, how do I best describe it? It's like a twisted sort of artist that finds inspiration in young flesh. Now, this is the one that might stir Ben's Nightbone.
I do like young flesh.
It's a really cool film. The director, he only wrote and directed one film, being this one, and he has the unfortunate surname, or maybe fortunate, is Ted Hooker. But the third film in this set is Penny, I think it's called Penny Gold, which is the only one I haven't got around to watching yet, but I'm looking forward to checking out because the other two were fantastic. And being Vinegar Syndrome, it's loaded with special features. Comes in this nice rigid set. You got the Blu-ray, Amaray 2-disc set. Like I said, 2 of the films are on the 1 disc. Nice little booklet. Oh, that's a slipcase. Nice booklet. Smells so good. It's a really good set, and I at the moment I'm just really hot for 60s, 70s British, mainly genre cinema. But look, if it's a quirky little comedy like Loot or something like that, then I'm all over it as well. So this couldn't have come out at a better time. And I'm an annual subscriber for Vinegar Syndrome, so when they do the announcements, I see what's announced and I go, oh yeah, cool. Sometimes, oh yeah, I don't look too hard, because then typically it's at my door within a week or two's time, and then I open it up and I have a proper look. And this was one of those that I didn't pretty much look at when they announced it. And then as soon as it arrived, I was like, this is heaven sent. This is just like perfect. And I said straight away to Danny, we're watching Crucible of Terror tonight. She's like, what about the block? And I said, fuck the block. We can catch up on the block. Crucible of Terror needs to happen now. Anyway, it's a great set. It's exclusive to Vinegar Syndrome at the moment. It will go trade-wide. Typically, there's a 60-day holdback before it goes to the other retailers, unless, of course, you order from Dead End DVD or Outrun DVD, who stock these things locally, and you'll be able to get it through them. But too enthusiastic thumbs up for that.
Just a little dirty on Vinegar Syndrome after all of that stuff about Cannibal, the musical.
Oh, I know.
It seems like really the pot calling the kettle black with Vinegar Syndrome, who do export all of their films. They sell through Amazon and export.
Exactly.
You can buy from overseas on their website.
They do international subscriptions, so
Yeah.
I
just
mean, yeah,
bullying of the
it's
worst kind.
super hypocritical. It's hard. Look,
Yeah.
I went to see a stand-up comic the other night, and he was fantastic. I think his name was Ramesh Raga something or
Oh,
other.
Ramesh Raghunathan.
Yes, that's who I saw, Ben. That's who I went and saw.
Yeah, he's
I've
great.
never heard of him, but he was very funny. But he went on to do this little bit about Amazon. Oh, look, I'm probably going to ruin his piece, but fuck it. He did this bit about Amazon, and he was like, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, no care for the environment with packaging. The employees are getting, doing ridiculous hours, minimal pay. He went through all the different, they're not paying taxes, all these horrible things. And he goes, but if I want a kite, they can deliver it in 3 hours. And he goes, who else can do that? 3 hours for a kite. He goes, they'll have to do something really bad in order for me not to order anything from them. He goes, child labor? And he goes, but I could get that kite in 3 hours. He goes, let those little nimble fingers work. And and it was fantastic because it's true. Look, we all know,
But it is one of those.
What it is.
That's a very
yes. That's my parallel to vinegar syndrome.
Vinegar syndrome.
They might be bad people sometimes, but they do a lot of good as well.
I find that the whole pretty much the white world is so against child labor, and child labor is not a great thing. But I know they've tried to clean it up in a number of countries, and sometimes like that's the only income that family were getting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, yes, 100%. It's wrong. It's also now you've just killed all these people. These people are now starving because you've taken.
That's it. They're their primary, earner from the family. But before we look at this child labor law stuff, shouldn't we address the child bride situation first, rather than marrying 11-year-old girls off to like 30, 40-year-old men? Let's worry about that before we worry about them making money for the family.
I just saw this great,
good, honest work.
I don't know who it was. It was a British committee who just literally had a joke about the child brides. He's like, Jimmy Carr. He is, the child labor.
Oh, I'm glad it's Jimmy Carr and not Jimmy Savile, because that would be different.
The age of consent in Mexico is 12, and he was like, they made some joke about the age of consent. He said, that the age of consent laws in Mexico are 12, which means in a courtroom somewhere, some guy has gone, she looked 12 to me.
Well, firstly, I'm going to clip that stuff at the start and tag Vinegar Syndrome in it on TikTok, just so of that. But secondly, Ricky Gervais did that to the Apple CEO's face at the Golden Globes. Talked about child labour and all that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And he sat there and laughed at it.
This Ramesh, he took aim at Disney, he took aim at Amazon, and he took aim at another major. And I thought to myself, Apple, did I mention Apple? Apple, Amazon, and Disney. And I was thinking, well, you're going to be hard pressed for that stand-up special. Is going to Netflix.
I was about to say.
In the UK now. He's pretty huge in the UK. Right?
Well, that's what he said. He goes, I did 100 TV shows last year. I think he hosts The Weakest Link over there and does practically everything. And he said, but it's not real work, so it doesn't matter. He goes, I can do 100 shows. It's not real work.
He hosts their version of The Footy Show. He's on.
That makes sense.
All the panel shows. He's like,
he's
9 out of 10 caps and
he's very tapped in here.
or QI or whatnot.
He was on
Taskmaster.
This is like an endorsement for something that's completely unrelated to
it. What are we endorsing? Child labor laws? I don't know.
This guy.
Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah, he's very funny.
What's the new show on Channel 10? The
Taskmaster.
No, on Channel 10, the one with Melanie Bracewell and
the Cheap Seats.
The Cheap Seats. He was a guest on the Cheap Seats this week as well.
Makes sense. There you go.
He's a big deal. I was shocked when I heard he was coming out. It's not even comedy festival time.
He's gay too?
He's straight and he's got 3 boys.
Okay, so he's not coming out.
He's done like a bunch. He's done like a TV show where he's married to Catherine Ryan. He's got like 3 Netflix series.
He sold out Hamer Hall. Like Hamer Hall was sold out. And the most amazing thing was I was like, this guy's filled Hamer Hall. And prior to my friend getting me tickets to go and see him, I had no idea who he was. I didn't even Google him. So when I got to Hamer Hall and saw it packed, I was like, this guy must be pretty popular.
Let us spend the next 20 minutes spooky and Tony Hinchcliffe, okay? Let's do it. Right, Tony, he's great. Do wonders for comedy. Tell him about Madison Square Gardens.
When you first came out, Jarret, did you go, "What's with his eye? Where's he looking?"
No, because look, I've needed to get these lenses updated for about 4 years, so I could barely make him out. He was when he made the joke about looking like an Indian Rolf Harris. I laughed because I was like, "Oh, he must look a bit like an Indian Rolf Harris." That's funny. Now I know what he looks like, so I can.
It is really weird
that in my head.
And like Hammer Hall, they don't have the TVs like at the MCG and stuff. So
No, yeah.
You can just see up
No,
close.
they were very particular about not taking videos or photos. I mean, like I've never seen anything like this. They walked around with iPads and flashed them at people constantly.
It's so these comedians can't get cancelled.
I thought it was just so that their material didn't get ruined. So
it's so like like I was saying, like Tony Hinchcliffe who does Kill Tony. You're not allowed to take your phones in because if that material was put out of context anywhere else,
true, true, yeah. Once you're not in control of the joke, and admittedly, there was a lot of stuff that, if out of context,
like Dave Chappelle has proven, being cancelled actually means absolutely nothing to your ticket sales or Netflix's willingness to put on a special.
That's it. You might find a new fan base.
All right.
Anyway, gentlemen.
Yep, good.
that wraps up this week's comedy highlights, and another segment of things Jarret knew nothing about until this week, and now we'll forget next week. So until next time,
stay physical.
Stay physical.